Hey friends, welcome to your playbook for the eclipse wormhole. We are in it, and I'm literally recording this minutes before the total lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces that kicks us off into the wormhole. So the full moon lunar eclipse Sunday at 12:08 Mountain Time, 11:08 a.m. Pacific Time on September 7th. There we go. Off we go, spiraling into the eclipse. And then we'll end the eclipse wormhole on the 21st of September with a new moon in Virgo, the second new moon in Virgo happening at 29 degrees, rebooting our entire Virgo house in our charts. So this is a very big and very volatile new moon and eclipse. And it's really a time to relax into the bigger plan. There's a bigger plan unfolding. We are being put on a new timeline that none of us have a clue what that timeline is going to be about and what it will look like. I've been diving deeply into lots of speculation around it, not from a spiritual perspective, but from scientists and technologists, anybody who sounds like coherent. I'm just diving in. AI, World War III, nuclear arms, like literally, I'm taking one for the team. Oh, and honestly, it's not racking my nervous system. So I know that that's why it's for me to do. And I'll be integrating the learnings of being in the world, but not of it, and how to walk through the world without fear in our bodies, knowing that as that Virgo Pisces story, we are more than this. And in fact, even in this capsule, there's so much more that we are not seeing, and those things are going to become available to us. So this full moon, by some has said very volatile, by others they're like it's magical because it forms a trine with Jupiter, full moon north node and Jupiter, and this is a north node eclipse. So if you look at the north node is like where we're hungry for, this destined future that we just want to grab it and eat it. Whereas the south node, like the tail of the dragon, doesn't really have a lot of agency. It's more the unconscious running the show. You know, that metaphor of the elephant and the rider. The rider who's sitting on the elephant tells the elephant what to do. And then if it does it, it thinks, oh, I totally am in charge. But what it didn't know is that was what was the elephant was going to do anyway. The elephant, the unconscious, is what is in charge. And so our job as we are in the wormhole as spiritual midwives, because we have to do the work ourselves before we can midwife a collective, and that is to see ourselves clearly. And that means us personally, because our lives are full of projection. And you can tell when you idealize someone or you project bad shit onto them. Either way, it's a projection of something that's disowned in here. And 90% of our world is that. So getting really aware of how we're projecting. And then number two, developing a relationship with that part of ourselves that we don't really have any control over, that unconscious part of ourselves. That is spiritual ninja. And that's part of what's happening here as Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, joining the team to support us in the last decan of Pisces to dissolve, to let go old ways of being. Truly, we are on the precipice of something new. We say this all the time, but this playbook will help you actually embody the things and the changes that are coming. So let me give you a couple of distinctions with that. Number one, your hands are off the wheel. You think your hands are on the wheel, but just like that elephant and rider, your hands are actually not on the wheel. So your job is to kind of sit back and witness and then be moved by the river, be moved by the river. And what we do have control over, and we know this, so as a reminder, what we have control over is the context that we create about it. So when we're no longer projecting or we're catching ourselves in the projection field, and the ego is a slippery mofo, so you can count on you being the last to know. But what we can see is that the river is taking us somewhere. And that's part of these eclipses because they are conjunct the nodes of fate. So they are said to be fated. or destined. So we just get to witness, where is the tide moving? I'm super curious, like, why am I drawn to this certain kind of information that I've been digesting? What does my subconscious want to know? Is it just for my own existential fears of annihilation? I don't think so, because I don't feel a fear getting triggered, but I'm very curious about it. So I'd like to hear from you in the comments. What are the things that you are being drawn to that are maybe surprising to you? Like, holy shit, I didn't know that I was into astrology, or whatever. What rabbit hole are you going down? That's a good question. So just know that when your hands are off the wheel, it's like being in one of those autonomous cars. You're not driving. You just get to sit back as a passenger and chill out and witness. And where we're going is part of your soul's destiny and the destiny of the collective, because we're talking about the nodes of fate of the collective. Whew. All right. So something is gestating in your unconscious, because we're talking about Pisces, and Pisces rules the realm of the unconscious. So that's why I'm presencing. And it's opposite Virgo, which is our embodiment, which is our habits. So we get to wake up to some of our habits, some of our mental thinking that has gotten us here, and that guarantees that the future will look a shit ton like the past if we don't change our mind, change our thoughts, which is why, things like plant medicine has kind of come in to like, stop thinking like that. As Michael Pollan says in the book, Change Your Mind, that the default mechanism of your ego recedes and you have greater access to all the other centers of the brain that know things. And that's the kind of gnosis that we want to cultivate here. You can get there through breath work. You can get there through meditation, whatever your way in. That's something to do during this eclipse. Take your way in, because something that's meant for you is already happening. It's already happening. And I think we can rely on Jupiter in this conjunction, because this has not happened, like, I think since the late 1800s, having Jupiter here in this exact full moon placement in Pisces. So flowing to us some blessings. So learn, where is Jupiter in Cancer in your chart, and how are the blessings flowing to you? Again, we don't have our hands on the wheel. We're just witnessing and taking action that is part of the river. Like when you're in the river, you're going to start rowing at times, and you're going to start relaxing and letting go at other times. We are being done. So the question then becomes, number 2, what timeline are you on? What timeline do you want to be on? What one of the astrologers talked about with this eclipse season is that everything but the moon and Pluto, who, by the way, is out of bounds. I'll talk about that later, not in this video. And then Mars. Other than those 3, the moon, Pluto, and Mars, everything is moving toward the south node and what they call circling the drain, right? It's like shit that wants to leave you. It's circling the drain. So that we do have planetary signatures, the moon, the people. So the collective is being lit up for its future destiny. Pluto, where's Pluto in your chart? Bringing up fears for you to conquer so that you can move into the place where Pluto is totally reinventing in your chart. And that's by sign, right? Whole sign. Where is Pluto occupying? For me, 10th house. So, who knows what's going to be happening in my future. And then Mars, where you want to take action. Mars is also a player, your embodied action. It could also be arguments and fights, but let's put the energy toward inspired action. Then we say Uranus is also now retrograding, and he is in early Gemini and will go back into Taurus. So where is that conversation with Uranus? Like 8 years of upheavaling one aspect in your chart and now somewhere else. But then he's like, wait, I'm going to go back and make sure you've got it. It's a break free moment. It's a breakthrough moment. So that's why I say that this is a timeline moment. It's a moment to choose your timeline in consciousness. Not so much what's happening here, because those are the fated things. They're going to show up or not show up. They're going to be taken or not taken. but how are you choosing to play the game through how you're thinking about it, how you're contextualizing it? What's your narrative around it? Because this is actually really exciting. I mean, this is humanity's moment. And this is really what the Pluto out of bounds. There's a scholar who did a bunch of research for like thousands of years on Pluto out of bounds and in which direction, north or south. And it happens to be that Pluto in the out of bounds in the south is really power to the people. And I know it doesn't look like that. It looks like a shit show autocracy, but there is power to the people. And if we look at the fourth saculum of crisis and winter in the story of the fourth turning, we see that the people rally. So that timeline is the timeline of the people. So what part do you want to play? What's in your soul? This is a soul thing, that everything you've done up to now has trained you for this soul thing, to play this role as the midwife, the spiritual midwife, from the crisis to the rebirth. We're doing that individually. I mean, anyone doing that individually? Like, this is my second Saturn return. I am super doing that. And part of that is to play a reckoning, because Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces, asking for a reckoning. And I know this for the second Saturn return, we've lived a long life. And so we could have a lot of thoughts about our life. And it's good to do a review. It's good to look it in the eye and really see where you weren't acting in your highest and best, or the decisions you made, and ultimately forgive yourself and have compassion, because seriously, you couldn't have done anything other than what you did do. But it's for now. It's not for then, it's for now. So move the timeline, like speeding up the learning without the repeating of those same things, takes a reckoning. How am I now seeing what I did, seeing the choices I made? Like, I sold a house, should have not sold it, but I knew at the time I was like dying and I needed to sell the house. So I'm not Monday night quarterbacking the selling of the house, but I'm just realizing as I go forward, holy shit, that cost me. That really cost me. And at this point, I don't want to be paying for costs. So, but that's for now. I've learned something about real estate. I had a mindset that didn't pan out. Like, I thought I had assumptions about life that didn't pan out. And so now, as wise women, whether you're in your Chiron return, dealing with your wounds, your Saturn return, first or second, your Uranus opposition, which is right in the mid 40s, that's like the bottom of the U, they say. I mean, if you're past that, you already know, like, it got really hard then. But that's where all this diamond consciousness was getting formed. You had to have heat and pressure to come out to this place here. And yeah, maybe your outer life is in a shambles or shit that you did and you're paying the price for it now. I'm hearing health in our Wise Women Mastermind. Health, 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 health. Everyone's like, because the body does, just like a car, break down and things need to be replaced. But at the same time, how we treated it, what timeline we were on, what our thinking was. Oh, I'll just have that glass of wine. Oh, I'll just eat that sugar. It won't bother me. Yeah, it didn't bother you then. It bothers you now. And so we're paying the piper, and we get to now make different choices. So that's why a lot of women in my group are like, holy shit, I am now on my health like I have never been before. That's really good, because it takes us taking care of ourselves to do the work that we're here to do. Let's continue here. I think I kind of got into the third piece. So that was the timeline that you're on. We have these retrograding planets till the end of the year, till next year, giving us the opportunity to take this kind of stock. And so number 3, I wrote, wake up, right? Wake up from the dream. It's a shape-shifting hall of mirrors. And I want to say that we're starting to wake up to that which we have been blinded to. And that's okay that we were blinded. We were under like Neptune and Pisces, and Neptune will retrograde back in there. And that was the whole awakening of the spiritual movement since 2011. We've seen, now YouTube is full of channelers and all kinds of spiritual astrology, everything, right? Because that's what happened. That's what blew up during that time. But now, as Neptune moves and will move, and that's that February 20th date that I will reference in a moment, we have this opportunity to really mature. And that maturity is what goes with us in this new timeline. So, like, I know a lot of people in the spiritual world who voted for Donald Trump as president. And I can't fault them. I understood what their rationale was, particularly many, many health coaches. And what I think we're seeing now is stripped away of our illusions. Like that person at the top of in our executive branch is draining the country. Like it's exhausting being an American. I don't know if you're listening to this and you're not in America, it is exhausting. Like it's almost like having an alcoholic father. And I never grew up like this, but this is how I imagined it. That one day that person is high and talking about all the things and we're going to move and it's going to be great. And then the next day it's just trashed and shit and the plans are changed and that level of volatility. And so we're dealing with that level of volatility as the shape shifting and the illusions fall off and we're seeing things more clearly. So what I want to say about it, because some people get really pissed off, but I hope not, because I hope what we're really in now is more of a collective narrative where we're coming together and we're able to evaluate without the political triggers, because truly it was okay to do what you did. And it was destined that this person be the disruptor. And now what's happening with this Pluto out of bounds, and it's such an intense story that I'll share with it in another video. It's incredible. It's not ever going to happen for like hundreds or thousands of years. So this is our moment, but we have to look with not partisan eyes or without getting triggered. We have to look with new eyes. We get to look with the scales falling off, and we just get to call a spade rather than double downing. It's the people. And believe me, this happens with world leaders who are narcissists. They hear something from their inner circle they don't want to hear. And instead of admitting that they're wrong, they double down on their erroneous position. And that's what's happening right now. So we cannot allow that to happen. That's the part of waking up. We need to say, I was operating under an assumption that I'm no longer operating under, and just clear it like that. You can handle it. We can handle it. That our life depends on us doing that. So what we're seeing is that even though we don't like it and it's draining our energy, we really can't look away. There's no more looking away. And that's what this eclipse is rebooting inside of us. It's giving us a strength to not look away anymore, whether that's in the collective or that's you personally, like doing a reckoning with my life as I look back and I'm where I am. Take a deep breath. And it's not where I thought I should be, right? And now I get to wipe the decks on that, take the learnings, they're integrated in me, and how now do I live? Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is this February 20th thing. So that's our aim, our drishti. February 20th is 0 degrees, Saturn and Neptune. I'm going to do that. They're meeting. This is a mudra. This is my new mudra of Saturn, Neptune meeting at 0 degrees, world axis point. That meeting is said to be the beginning of the beginning. We're in a lot of endings, but that's the beginning of the beginning. I have total chills. So we're working toward that exact conjunction. When they go back into Pisces, dissolve, put it down the drain, and then they cross over into Aries at 0 degrees, February 20th. That is the beginning of the beginning. I mean, we can't understate that. And here's the thing. Nobody has a clue what that beginning is going to look like. We have clues, I suppose, but nobody has the picture. Nobody has the exact idea, because why? It is nothing we have ever seen before. And so, sisters, we get to walk through with epic courage, with epic clarity on what has been closed out, completed in ourselves, in our psyches, in our beings, for the benefit of all as we step into a new timeline. That's what's at stake here. And so I think we're going to end with, that eclipse conversation. What's the eclipse conversation in you? What is showing up in your field that you could easily start to project upon, good or bad, but you're going to stop for a moment. You're going to come into that neutrality and just witness and watch and let it play out, because some places we're being tested. And in some places, a new normal is breaking through. And the truth is, with these eclipses and where we're going with the South Node conjoining this new moon, we actually don't know what it is. So get your high priestess on, because she knows how to walk in the dark. She has a lantern. This lantern is the full moon lighting the way, and that full moon will dim to a dark moon, and she will be in the dark. You will be in the dark. So when you're in the dark, what are you trusting in here? Where are your anchor points? They cannot be out here because you cannot see, but the light within is your anchor point. So during this reboot time, spend some time with that light within, just basking in it, flowing in it, being aware of it, and watch the stories that you're telling on the outside, because nothing is as it seems. Let's gather all the positive energy we have generated here, rubbing our hands together, bringing Pisces and Virgo together, integrated into our being, feeling that vibration in your palms and beaming it out. May all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts.